more than welcome to reach out to us if you have questions. I'll start with our research goal. And essentially, we wanted to do a comparative assessment focused on article quality, citation indices, popularity trends, things like this, but in a subset of climate-related topics on different Wikipedia language editions. And what I want to talk to you about, my colleague will talk about the research later, I'll talk to you about the difficulty of selecting those articles. It would appear that it's a relatively easy thing to select climate change-related topics. There are, of course, different ways to do it. One is going with the projects. There is, on English Wikipedia, there's a wiki project on climate change. There are categories, Wikidata items, Wikilinks, and whatnot. And it is a good approach, in a way. For example, if we look at the wiki projects in different languages, there will be they were present on at least 5 Wikipedias, maybe more. Sometimes it will be a little bit more problematic when there's a wiki project. One is on climate change, the other one is, I don't know, global warming, or something like that. But this is not a bad route. The only problem is, though, if you look at the articles on English Wikipedia, for example, there will be a little shy of 5,000 articles there. But not all of them are Wikipedia articles, which is fine, we can eliminate that. But if you even look at the articles themselves, which are not categories, not redirects or anything, and you look into the content, very often you will see that wiki projects will find articles being of interest for the wiki project, but those that we would not necessarily qualify as such. The problem is obviously the relevance of the topic. For instance, the article Donald Trump will be, well, probably for a good reason, classified as climate change related, but is it really, is the article on Donald Trump really predominantly on climate? Probably not, right? If we want to really sort out articles that are predominantly about climate change, this should not get through. Obviously, another problem is that some Wikipedia articles will have like a section which is relevant for our research, and this section will be fine, but other parts not necessarily. Bill Gates is another good example, right? I mean, Bill Gates, very relevant section, which we should possibly consider, but not the whole article most likely. So for the preliminary examination, we also took the Wikidata items connected with selected Wikipedia articles from the wiki project. So we checked the property of the corresponding Wikidata items. We came up with about 12,000 unique values there. On English Wikipedia, so it's just the English version, and it's not getting us much. I'll go back here. As you can see, obviously wiki project climate change will be the most common Wikidata item, but many of these are also not that relevant. I'm going to flick through those slides because we don't really have that much time, but bottom line is that the number of unique values of instance of property of Wikidata items connected with the Wikipedia articles that are connected to Wiki project climate change on English Wikipedia, we narrow it down to a little bit shy of 1,000. Then, of course, we thought about using categories, right? If you cannot use something, let's use categories. But as you perfectly know, you're Wikimedians yourself, so you know it's difficult because categories will very often embed other categories, and it's like going down this rabbit hole, unfortunately. Very quickly, one subcategory, second subcategory, and you have nearly every article you can think of. So it's not very effective. For example, Wikipedia article climate change in the United States will be properly assigned to a category, but there will be very many articles which, if you embed the category a little bit more, will not necessarily be relevant for us. So popular categories in English, articles related to Wiki project on climate change. Again, we identified 11,000 unique categories, and it's obviously not particularly useful for all practical purposes. Use of wikilinks in the lead section was another approach we thought would be maybe useful. So the leading section very often is considered a lead, like maybe signifying the most important part of the article. So we thought, yeah, maybe this would be a good route. So we thought about including, if Wikipedia article includes a wiki link to an article that directly describes climate change, it could be climate change, could be global warming, in the leading section, then we could assume it signals that, yeah, maybe this is the most important thing for the article, so this would be qualifying them as such. But again, unique wiki links will very often we'll get a whole array of articles, and mind this, we're still staying with the English Wikipedia alone. So defining which articles should actually we focus on is really difficult. Then my colleague will tell you how we proceeded from there. Wojciech, are you with us?
Yes. Hello, everyone. I have some technical problems before. Okay, so as I understood, the slides, Darius, you will yes change the slides.
I can change the slides for you, sure. Just let me know when.
Great. So as Darius mentioned before, we use a different approach to find relevant articles relevant to climate change topic, and we began with this Wikidata. So I didn't see my slides. I don't see my slides.
Yeah, could we switch back to slides? It's probably... That's spooky.
Now I only see my face on Zoom, so I don't see...
Don't worry, everybody else also only sees your face.
Oh, great. How it's looking. Okay, good. So if we go to Wikidata, we began from Wikidata. So we decided to search for every Wikidata item which have one of these listed, we can say, properties. Yeah? So if this Wikidata item have in some properties climate change or climate change mitigation and so on and so on. So we have almost, in Wikidata, we got almost 2,000 Wikidata items. Let's go to the next slide. Of course, not every Wikidata item connected with Wikipedia articles and the most developed language version, English, has almost 600 of Wikipedia articles that are connected with Wikidata items that we are found. Let's go next. So second approach is to find which articles are aligned directly to categories which have climate change phrase and also global warming phrase. So it's, as you see, 162 categories for this first and next. So we have also third approach, wikilinks. We searching for related to climate change wikilinks to articles, important articles on this topic, for example, climate change, global warming, and so on. And on the next slide, we see statistics. Yes, how much articles we can find if we will only analyze this wikilinks on lead section. And we can see that there is a lot of articles, much more articles that we can find before. English Wikipedia has over 5,000 articles with such important wikilinked in lead section. Let's go next. And here you see a table how this number of Wikipedia articles related to climate change grows. So first stage is Wikidata, as you can see. Next categories, it's separate analysis. So we do not join these numbers. For now, first stage, second stage categories, and third stage wikilinks, also separate statistics for this method. And on next row, we join this. Darius, can you show before? Because yes, we join. And when you see total unique, we join these three stages and see unique articles that we can get from these three methods jointly. But also we have last stage we search for interwiki links in each of the language version, in each articles of a language version, because in each language version we provide separate analysis. Yeah, so we can have much more articles on this last stage with interwiki. Let's go further. Well, what is interesting that on English Wikipedia article global warming is actually redirect to climate change article. It few years ago it was separate article, but now it's redirect to climate change article. But global warming, as an we can say page, has interwiki to other languages in different languages, including Polish. Global warming is separate article. Moreover, if you go to page view statistics, you will see that global warming is much more popular than the climate change article. If we speak about Polish Wikipedia, of course, we can analyze other versions, but it's interesting to know that Wikipedians decide to create redirect from article which is more popular than this main target article. Okay, let's go further. So for this stage, we decided to analyze only these two important articles related to climate change, and we decided also to have possibility to compare language versions between each others. For example, if we want to compare popularity of such articles between languages, we also need to consider the popularity of such language versions. Yes, so English is more popular than Polish, for example. So therefore we use relative measures, relative popularity measures that show how it's popular climate change article related to other articles in this selected language version. And we can see that Vietnamese is okay. Relative popularity, we can see that Vietnamese and Arabic have this relative more popular articles related to climate change. Also, we do it for citations. We're searching for wikilinks to these articles. We join statistics for this article if language has separate climate change and global warming articles. And also we can see that some languages which are less developed than English have relatively more citation to those articles. And relative authors, relative unique number of authors. Also, we can see that some of the language versions, such as Dutch or Swedish, has relatively more authors' attention to such articles. Only 2 articles. Yes. Well, let's go further. So this statistics shows how these 2 important language Wikipedia articles are relatively popular in each language version from 2021 to, we can say, recent months, June of this year. And we also not only see that some language versions have there is more demand on this information, but also there is some seasonal we can say need for this information. For example, April in each year in some languages. So let's go further. So we go deeply to this measurement analysis and decided to analyze quality, popularity, number of citations, number of authors, of articles related to climate change, and additionally divided to different topics. Now, and I will show you on the next slide some of the results. So here you see that on the left side we have quality measurements using synthetic metric which give you quality score from 0 to 100, and we can see that climate change by country and territory has a higher score in different languages. Generally, German version and English version have quality higher compared to other languages, but depending on topic, we can also see some interesting scores on other languages. For example, you can see Chinese album or this aspect of geographic region. The same for popularity, depending on language, on topic, you can see the differences. The same we do with, on the next slide, we do also for authors and citations. Some of the topics have more citations and authors, but also depending on language version, we can see the differences. That is a difference. Okay, what are the conclusions? In general, we can say that this climate change is a broad topic. It's not so easy to find articles related to climate change. Of course, we on some begin stage of this research, there is also space for improvement. We plan to develop some maybe new methods, join with other methods, create some new measures, and so on. So we can say that integrating different methods, including those that were presented today, in categories, Wikilinks, and Wikidata, can ensure finding more complete, we can say, list of articles related to climate change. And of course, on the next slide, we have some of the conclusions from this analysis. So interest and engagement can vary across languages, and we can say high page views doesn't always mean the high citation for this article or author interest. So it depends on language version, on the topic, and also we can say that languages with less engagement or less developed languages can put more attention to some of the topics such as climate change. So that's all briefly. Thank you, Darius, thank you for your attention, and we are, you're welcome to ask questions.
And before we go to questions, I want to summarize 3 things that I think are important. First of all, if you read some climate change research about Wikimedia projects, it is very likely it might be problematic how they chose the subset, because it's just difficult. And people don't realize it. Unless they are Wikimedians like you, they will not know. They say, oh, it's a category, it's fine, or it's a wiki project, it's fine. Most likely it's not. Second, the topic is very well covered on English Wikipedia, but interestingly enough, the Japanese care about climate change more, proportionally, than the English Wikipedia readers, which I find a little surprising. Although I have to mention that recently I did a study of Reddit, and on Reddit, climate change, by the way, climate change replaced global warming in discourse as a result of a Republican strategic agenda, and we can see it on Reddit data. There's a flip. I think 2013 marks the change. But interestingly enough, and disturbingly enough, climate change is less and less proportionally a topic of conversations on Reddit over the years. So this is definitely worrying. The fact that proportionate interest of English readers is smaller than on Japanese Wikipedia is also, I think, maybe a little troubling. And the positive outcome is that smaller language editions with quite small user communities actually have pretty high engagement in articles related to climate change, which could signify that, you know, with tight, determined community who's maybe more science-oriented, less general public, it is still possible to have really high-quality articles, which we, by the way, see also in medical articles. Some smaller communities can have much better quality medical articles. So, questions, comments, insults? Mike?
Thank you, people. And as usual, I will remind everyone to hold the mic horizontally to pick the sound better. And thank you. My question or kind of comment, when you were talking about small languages in Swedish, Dutch, Italian, I'm not not sure they're that small. Or in other words, that we have many much smaller, I think, languages, and perhaps they are even from countries that might be even more
That's
on
fair.
the
We
front
just
of
didn't.
climate change, right?
We should check that. for
So
sure.
we should check those definitely. You know, some islands, yeah.
Klingon. Yeah.
Yeah, we plan to expand the number of language versions just for maybe we will interesting in some of the articles that we are find with our methods. I put those examples, 3 articles on climate change in English Wikipedia, which our methods found. We can say each of 3 methods found those articles. So each of these articles have wikilinks on head section, climate change category, and also climate change related property on Wikidata item, but they are not aligned to Wiki project climate change. So maybe you will interesting. You can see some examples that our method can find. So I put it on the chat.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I have one question, which is where I can read more about the details of the methods you have used for context for NPOV research and the support that we are doing for the NPOV working group. We are running into a similar challenge of like topics and how to filter topics. Where can I learn more about the details?
Music to our ears. Somebody wants to read our research. Sure. Once we have a draft, we will be really honored and happy to send it your way.
Yes, thank you.
By the way, wikirank.net, you should check it up. Wojciech developed it a while back for a really robust methodology of quality measurement of articles. So wikirank.net and other, of course, other measures, different measures, different things. Wikirank.net, check it out.
I've been running into the same problem with like the lists, and I think that part of the challenge that we have too is that the Wikidata modeling is not great in some cases for some of the stuff. So for example, for extreme weather events, there's also like problems with the scientific consensus on like how you can actually attribute certain extreme weather events to climate change or not. And so some of that will actually depend on, you know, whatever research is out there. And so I think that like one of the biggest challenges that we have is actually improving the Wikidata models for all these like climate change related topics. So that's like a general comment. And I'm also like really interested in understanding better how you did like the quality assessment, because I think that one of the main challenges that we have is like, sure, like the science is clear, but then when you go into like more social topics or like, you know, like if you're like dealing with mitigation, maybe like you could have some clear cut things, but then when you go into adaptation, for example, like it gets like wild. And so like it would be interesting to understand like how you're measuring like the quality that is not only relative to, you know, citations and that, but actually like the actual coverage of the topics.
Very good comment. One quick reply, because we're running out of time. A separate topic for definitely 1 hour presentation, different measures that we're using, but there's another application here. I published a study a while back showing that quality perception varies across languages. So if you analyze the good and featured articles across different languages, the proportions of citations, external links, length, the proportions of images will vary widely. So even how do people perceive what is quality, what is not, will be culture dependent.
Yeah, but I think it will be nice to have some golden standards to test our methods. So we need to know which of the Wikipedia articles are really strongly related to climate change to test our method. So if we will have such golden standard, we can say we can test it. But you know, it's very subjective thing to select articles that are more or less related to climate change. We try some methods, we see the results. As I said, I put some examples on the chat, and we will work, of course, on improving this. And we invite other people if they want to have some ideas. Why not?
Thank you so much. Time is up.
Thank
Thank you.
you.